Hey guys, I wanted to do this video on a tool that I discovered about maybe, I think it's only been about 8 years ago, but it's like the tool that I wished I had when I was a kid because I was always trying to transcribe different players' solos. And, it was really difficult when you're doing like Michael Brecker and he's playing, a million notes and you can't even really hear it that well to begin with, but you weren't able to slow it down and to really hear the notes. Well, this program came along and it just like kind of revolutionized what you can do with with solos or just learning how to play a tune. So I wanted to show it because I every time I get a new student, I show them this app, and it's called Transcribe. There's other ones, but the one I've been using for many years is called Transcribe, and it's made by seventhstring.com. And very inexpensive program, about $40. I'm not trying to sell the program. I get no kickback on it or anything like that. I just think it's a great program, and I'll show you how it works, and you can decide for yourself. But yeah, this is a great tool. And if you're just like, if you're working, like I have one student, he's working on a song called All of Me by John Legend. It's a pretty simple tune and all, but you can still use this to get inside of the notes, to do passages where you can loop it and practice it over and over until you really kind of get the all the nuances of the melody. And so you can kind of start at a really simple level like this, and then you can take it as far as like taking somebody's really complex solo and slowing it down, and being able to hear that solo that is really moving fast at like half speed, and things like that. So I'm going to show you a couple things like this. This is what it looks like. You've got things like this where you can stretch out the track or make it smaller. I keep it right about like where you can kind of get around it pretty well, and you can change it up as you need it. Um, the most important things on it, I think, are the ability to slow it down, and also the transpose function. So if you're playing something, and you wanted to put it in a different key, or say that it's in a weird key, you really like this song or something, but it's in a weird key, and you wanted to change it to another key, you can do that. Or say you're working on like a blues and you want to put it in another key so you can practice that other key, because maybe your band plays a lot of blues or something, so you just want to learn how to play the blues in different keys. Well, you can put it in practically any key. And this program is amazing because it doesn't distort the sound hardly at all. And the way that a lot of even pro programs do it, like Pro Tools, if you stretch more than like a minor third, it starts to really warp the sound waves, and it's unusable. But with this, there's something in the technology, probably, and it's probably fairly simple. And but I don't really. That's not. I'm not going to get into that because I don't really care about it. It's just a great program to help you use, um, uh, um, like this ability to slow things down and to loop them. That's my main use of this, and so I want to show how you do that, because I do this every time I have a new student, and I've thought it might make a lot of sense for me to actually just do it once and give it to the students, and then if they have any problems, they can come to me and ask me, how do you take care of this? But so so first of all, you have this little arrow up here, which when you press your space bar, or actually when you click on this, you can just click anywhere and that arrow will show up. That just gives you a place to start. That's going to show you where you're going to start, right? And then now I've slowed it down to like 59, right? Here's the actual speed. Now listen to it at 50%. Now, if you're trying to transcribe even the chords there, it would be so much easier to do it like that, right? You could even loop one chord. You just grab that waveform. It helps you to hear all the notes, right? So, that's one feature that's really great. It's just a looping, taking just one little thing. Like if I wanted to work on one measure, all I have to do is I click there, and then I grab it, and then I just figure out, so it's 2, 3, 4. So actually I got to go faster to be able to figure out what the hell the time is here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. So you can kind of see where the wave starts, the next beat starts. So you got to use a little counting to get your loop really precise. Then you do that, and you get it in there, and you got, and that's a great little thing right there. Like say if I wanted to practice just something on, a 1-bar thing or a 2-bar thing, I can just loop that thing over and over, and then I can practice, like playing my whatever I'm going to, whatever I'm practicing. I could practice if it's, if you're at a beginner's level, you would just practice maybe, like the first notes of the phrase over and over until you get that, because it's a way better way to go about it than trying to play through the whole piece, making a whole bunch of mistakes, and starting again, going through it again, making the same mistakes, right? This way, you can focus on it, you can slow it way down. So I take my little, I drag this down, and, I put it in like, put it in somewhere where it's really comfortable. See, it's like a comfortable tempo. Now I can practice whatever I'm trying to practice on that. Now, so the next thing is, so on this piece, the vocal doesn't come in till later on. So, and if I'm trying to transcribe it, I'm going to find the vocal. Where is it? So I just kind of click over here. There it looks like it's coming up over here. Notice how it gets bigger here. Probably something's going to happen there. What would I? Yeah, so I can, you can kind of tell from the waveforms what's going to come up, or, sometimes when you're looking for something, it often tells you by looking at the waveforms, and you'll get better at discovering that as you go along. I've been doing it for many years, so I got a good, idea of how to find things, and you'll get better at it. It's not really that hard, and you probably already have some experience with it. So let's say, so I'm gonna, so now I want to, 4, 1, 2. So I got to get my count down too. All right, here's another important thing. If you're a beginner, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you notice where it stopped right at the waveform, right? So all I have to do is click my space bar to get this thing to stop right where I want to start it, right? So that's beat 1. So I want to start going right there. I'm just going to drag my my pointer right there, my cursor, and what would I do without your smart mouth? Now, so I'm going to just go that much, right? I don't want to do the whole phrase. All I want is to get that. All right, so I take that.
What would I do without your smart mouth? What would
now,
I
I can make that a perfect, phrase where it loops perfectly, so it sounds like a good. I think that's like 4 bars or something. So I could make that perfect, or it doesn't have to be, right? So like I can, if I'm really practicing it and I really want to get it to exact 4-bar phrase, I can do that too. So let's see. Let me see how that's going to work.
your smart mouth? What would I do without your smart mouth? What would I do without your smart mouth? What would I do without your...
All right, so I'm not sure yet. Let's see. I might want to go here. Let's see how that's going to work. Try that.
What would I do without your smart mouth? 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 What would
I see what the problem is here is that you can see he's going, what? And it's kind of almost like it's an anticipation of one. So that's why that's
What would I do without your smart mouth? 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 What would I do without your...
Now it's starting to sound like like a phrase, like that has some time, right? Not that necessary, right? You can just, that's the harder part of this, but I wanted to show a little bit of how to do this, right? So you can just kind of expand it a little bit by, you just, press, drag and move it, right? Drag, just click on this, drag and move it. That's all you have to do, right? So that's how it works. And then,
what would I do without your smart mouth?
Now the next thing is if I want to, if I'm trying to transcribe that melody, I want to, first of all, I want to think of, okay, 2, da, da, da. Now I want to make sure I got the rhythm of it. 2. So it's like 1, 2.
What would I?
1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 and so 3 and 4. So that's 2 eighths. If I'm going to write this out like correctly so that I could actually give it to my student, that's what I'm going to do. So I just
what would I do without your smart mouth?
I take it a little bit at a time. I might even go less, just go like, just take it a couple notes at a time.
What would I?
So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And I write those notes down. So let me figure that on my horn. So like, that was easy. Da, da, da. It's just G, A, A on an alto. So 1, 2, G, A, A, right? And that's it. 2 eighth notes and a quarter. Now I can actually start from that next place because I have my cursor where the next note is. I don't even have to listen to the notes before because I already know those. Now I need to know where I'm going from there. So
I do without your smart.
So it's da. Let's listen to it again.
I do without. I do without.
Da 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 da.
I do without.
It's actually all the same note, right?
I do without.
Right. So it's like quarter. So it was 2 eighths, a quarter. Now it's
I do without.
It's quarter, 2 eighths, right? And let's go on from there.
I do without your smart mouth.
Now they're all quarters. You can see them. Da da da. See that? 1, 2, 3. So da da da. Let's see.
I do it. I do without your smart?
So da 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 da, all quarters, right? So it'd be pretty easy to write this out. If you're not into that, you know, you don't even have to do that, right? You don't really have to write it out. I mean, I would, as a teacher, I'd write it out for the student, even even if I wasn't trying to teach them how to read, really, just as like you know, basically as a little help to be able to remember the phrases. So he doesn't really have to totally feel the thing and count it all out with his foot and that go through all that. If he's not interested in doing that, because music is, you know, I really believe that music is, you know, an ear thing. There's many great musicians that don't read a lick of music, you know, and so you just don't have to do it, right? So so uh, so the next point here is that, you know, you need to sing it though to be able to get it, because if you can't sing this, there's no way you're going to play. So
what would I do without your smart mouth?
So let's listen to it again.
What would I do without your smart mouth?
I think that's it. I'm going to play along this time.
What would I do without your smart mouth?
So that's it. I got that. I've got that thing. Now if I want to play it over and over, I just practice it over and over with that track. Now that it's looped, I can just let it go.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drop. What would I do without your smart mouth? Drop. What would I do without your smart mouth?
And I just get that under my fingers like that. But you know, you can see that I'm sure that if you're like, you know, 99% of the students that come to me, even that have had other teachers, they don't really get the concept of learning one phrase at a time. They're constantly playing, you know, like, you know, 8 bars or more, like the whole song, and making mistakes all along the way, and not ever really fixing those mistakes. So this is a more like, this is way more efficient way to learn how to practice, and you can really get into the nuances of his voice too, if you want to try to cop that, right? So like,
what would I
notice
what
how he's going. I think he's doing something like that. So I can either bend with my lip, or I can do it like as a grace note with my finger. I think it sounds a little better as a grace note. So it's not always the same for all of them, right? So you have to use your ear and decide what's going to work best.
What would I do? What would I?
Now I hear a little like my I'm not quite sure you can hear that, but there's a little vibrato on that note.
What would I?
There's a little bit of vibrato on his voice there, just to make a little more color in the sound. Now you can play it like, you know, you can play this, right? That's totally flat, meaning I'm playing the notes, but it's almost like I'm playing. It's like a computer, like, you know, or like a keyboard, da 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 da. You know, it's like there's no no dynamics, there's no shape in the sound, but you can see by the shapes in these notes, there is a lot of shape in every note, how he's singing. So if you get into this, it takes you to that next level of really getting inside and hearing the sound of the melody, and you can start to really learn how to play. So that's not really the intention of this video. So I'll leave that. But it's one of the great benefits of being able to slow something down like this, right? But now I can put it back up to 100 and go like. I can kind of get into the groove of that if I did it, a few times and really listen to it and got inside. So now I've got the next phrase. So I'm going to start a little bit back before it, and then I'm going to find the end of it, of that phrase. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Right, so that's right there. So you can see how, he shapes that phrase so it's smaller, right? You can see the shape of the phrase. He's tapering his phrase there, right? And we're gonna just open it up so I can hear a little bit more. Drawing me. So you might want to give yourself a little more time so you can get your horn in your face. I think I'm going to start there because once it comes around once, Drawing me in and you kicking me out. All right, so now we have to listen to that. So let's slow that down again, right? There you go. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. So you got. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. So I'm singing along because I'm trying to learn it, right? I don't know this melody, I've heard the song and all that, but until you actually get into the actual notes that he's playing, you don't really know the melody. You kind of have a vague idea of the melody. Like if somebody asked you to sing it, you can kind of sing it, but you probably wouldn't even be like close to how he's singing it. So. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. So da 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 da. I'm hearing da 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 da. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. So now I should be able to play that on my horn. Yeah, so that sounded like that. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Yeah, so it sounds like I got that. So once again, then I can slow it down even more and try to get into see what he's doing with those notes. Drawing me in. Notice how he goes me. He's like a big swell on that note, right? It's not a flat note. It's not just the same volume through the whole note. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Notice how he's got these little places where it's swelling, right? Meaning he's crescendoing through the note, right? So he's going. Something like that. So. Drawing me. He gets a nice big swell in that second note. Drawing me in and you kicking me out. Something like that, And again, I'm not trying to, that's not my objective with this. It's more about showing how to use this tool. So I'm not getting into like how to learn the song. But you can see how if you do this, right? Now, the first phrase was I learned my first, whatever that is, 4 bars, I think. And now I'm ready to go on. So now I'm going to click over here. I can double click, and I can move the cursor. Like when I have it, you have to double click when you have it something looped in order to go to that next place, right? So you double click, and then you see the little red arrow again, and then you're ready to get into the next place.
Got my head spinning. No.
Alright, so I can go a little faster when I'm trying to find it. I got it too slow.
Got my head spinning. No.
Alright, so I might just go that far, right? It's kind of short. It's not the end of the phrase, but it's enough that, if I'm trying to figure this thing out for the first time, I want to make sure I got it. Like, so, like I don't need to go that far. So
got my head spinning. Got my.
Let me give myself just a little bit more room here.
Got my head spinning. Got my head spinning. Got my head spinning.
Now see how in here he's going da, da. You can see there's a little spike right there. He's actually moving up to it, kind of. He's getting louder all through it, and so he's crescendoing it up. It's kind of a smooth thing. So, but listen to it one more time.
Got my head spinning.
And you can hear a really clear vibrato there.
Got my head.
It's almost like a nanny goat vibrato. Like. He's got all that, it's really kind of an intense, kind of odd in a way.
Got my head spinning.
Right? Listen, if you're checking out what I'm saying, you probably agree that's kind of fast, But he's trying to put a lot of energy into that note, and that's what's happening there, right? So I learned that phrase now. So. Let me listen to it a couple more times. See, this is why this works so well, because you can kind of just.
Got my head spinning. Got my head spinning. Got my head spinning. Got my got my
I pretty much have that, and then I go on, click here again, double click.
No kidding, I can't pin you down.
And then I stop there where he goes back to dome.
No kidding, I can't pin you down. What's 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 no kidding, I can't pin you.
So I gotta learn that phrase.
No kidding, I can't.
So that's enough, right? Right there. I can just stop it with my space bar, right? I don't even have to move the whole thing over to be able to stop it. So I can just, anytime I want to stop or start, I can just hit my space bar. Okay, so on this one, once again, I always sing it first, because like I said, if you can't hear it, you're not going to be able to sing it, and if you can't sing it, you're not going to be able to play it. So.
No kidding.
No kidding.
No kidding. No.
He just kind of.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's not really crescendoing on that one. It's kind of like he's already crescendoed up to it.
No
So now I can start right there if I want to just work on that spot.
I can't pin you down. I can't pin you down. I can't pin you down. I can't pin you down.
Now again, there's that fast vibrato on that second note.
I can't.
Hear it?
I can't.
It's like a pretty wide actually. It's a little bit, I think.
I can't pin you down.
He does it on the D again. So he goes. You know? So these are those little subtleties that you can hear by just sticking on that phrase and really getting inside of it before you move on to the next phrase. Now, if you're writing it down, that's even better because then you can, like, you know, you've got all the notes in front of you, figuring out the rhythms, put it all down on paper, or you can find it online. A lot of people write these things out. But you've got to be careful that they don't write them out incorrectly with incorrect rhythms and stuff, because that happens a lot. And so, you know, as long as you're really listening, it doesn't really matter. You can either fix the rhythms, or you can just say, "Oh, well, he's fudging that rhythm there. It's not correct." But I know what it sounds like, so I don't really care that it's written wrong. I'll just play it correctly, and you know, you don't have to mess with changing it, fixing it, trying to figure it out. So that's, you know, that's how I would use this. And then and so beyond that, you know, you can get into like how to practice it once you've got that. So then you can, you know, then you can get your karaoke track into this, you know. And here's a karaoke, and here's another transcribe thing, and I'm just going to open it up so you can kind of see it a little bit better. But you know, you can keep them kind of small, right? They get biggest or small almost as you need them. But anyway, so now I've got the karaoke track. So now I've actually got to figure out how many. I'm not quite sure where I got to come in. I might have to listen to the original again, but I'm gonna guess. Okay, so that's my starting point right there. I can feel it. And then it's like twice through that little chord sequence. If you couldn't hear that, see, it's like a 4-bar sequence. Okay, so you're going to hear 4 bars, and then another 4 bars with slight variation, and then you're in. And you can, you know, I hit my space bar and I put my cursor there. The little red arrow shows up. That's going to be the starting place now for that. And now I know exactly where it's starting, and it's going da da da. Much because we know 1, 2, da da da. It starts right on beat 3, right? Doesn't start on 1, but we need to know where 1 is. Otherwise, we'll never find our entrance for this karaoke track, right? That's why they, on karaoke tracks, if you see them online on YouTube, you can actually look, they tell you when the thing enters, you know, because most people really kind of don't have a clue. Unless, you know, they've got a good ear, and then it's pretty easy. So if you really know a tune, if you really get inside of the tune and you learn it, you will know where the entrances are. And you'll know, you know, exactly how to phrase that. So, so I can do a little of this now. So I'm going to say, like, so that's going to be my starting point right on beat 1, right? And then I'm going to go over here, and I'm not really sure how far I got to go yet, but I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to play along. So like there, that's far enough. Like where I ended it is cool. I'll see where the line is. I'm going to stop it right there. Now it's not going to be exact, you know, but I can practice that now, and just making sure that I can play it on my own without the help of John Legend, right? that's my first phrase, right? Now I go to my next phrase. As soon as I've like done that a bunch of times, right? And I can slow it way down too. Like say the first times, I go like, okay, you know what? That's I can't feel it. I'm having a little trouble, you know, placing it. So I wasn't staying with it. So. This tune is actually a little bit difficult because it doesn't have any drums to lay down the beat, you know. You've got these chords that are kind of like syncopated. Da, 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 da. You know, that's like, you know, anticipated beats, which, you know, doesn't help you learning this song any easier. So there's a lot easier songs to learn before you start doing something that's like a piano thing like this, you know. But you could do this song. It's not that hard once you've practiced it with the other track of him singing it over and over. And then you just, you know, so you go back, say you've learned that first part of him doing this, and you go. So here it says.
What would I do without your smile?
Like I said, that's my thing, and I'm gonna go right here, about the same place as I was.
What would I do without your smart mouth?
Now I go back to this one and drag this up here, and then I go. Whoops. Let's see. Where do I want to be? I think I might want to be a little closer. Oh, it's a lot slower. Let me see. That's right. My idea was to go a little slower. I forgot about that. But like. My main thing is to make sure I'm really feeling it, and everything's laying right in the beat really comfortably, and it feels good. You know what I mean? So you've got to listen to how he's doing it in order to be able to do that. Let's go back to this one.
What would I do without your smart mouth?
Right? Now I could play this different ways, right? Like, you know.
What would I do without your smart mouth?
Right? What about quarter notes? What about if I went? That's it. You know, that would be like the really elementary, you know, school kid playing this song, right? But if you get it, if you really listen to it a bunch of times, you realize that he connects all those notes.
What would I do without your smart mouth?
Right? Those are all little subtleties that make it come alive and sound good, right? So you gotta listen closely, and then put the karaoke track back in there and try to make it happen. See? So like now I can bring it up to, I'm feeling pretty good with that, so I'm going to go up to 100%. I should give myself a little more leeway so I can get into it. So I'm pretty happy with that, how that sounds. So now I can start, you know, back here at the end of that other phrase, a little bit back from the end, because we don't want to crowd the next phrase, right? So let's see. I'm not sure if I'm in the right place now. So let's see. So here we go. Yes, I think I was in the right place there. So my next phrase would be, I just stopped because I was trying to listen to see if I was in the right place. So as I said, you know, this is probably a little harder tune than normal tunes would be, because a lot of times it's like drums are really helping you to lay down the beginnings of phrases and ends of phrases and stuff, or you have other instruments that really make the form of the tune obvious. And that's kind of what you're looking for, all those kinds of cues. You're not getting a lot of cues here, so that's why it's definitely harder. But I just wanted to show you how you can start to learn how to learn a song. And when you do it phrase by phrase like this, it really helps you to learn it well. So you can kind of at some point, let's see. So that's I'm going to go up here. So 2. So I'm going to now I'm going to use this like this, like without looping it. I'm going to do it like I can just use the space bar. So I'm going to hit the space bar. So I'm not actually sure I'm in the right place. But anyway, let's see. I'd have to take it from the beginning. Let's try it. Let's try it from the beginning and make sure I'm in the right place. So 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to stop it right there. The cursor, this line is right here. It's telling me exactly where it is. Now I'm going to put my cursor there. Puts my little thing. That's my starting point. Now I can go. Yeah, I was in the right place. So it is right. It just, as I said, it's really not obvious on this because it's not a lot of, there's not like a lot going on to give you more cues. But normally when you're working on the other one with the vocal in there and all the other instruments, they're all going to give you that support that you're in the right place. Because that's one of the biggest problems. Like you're learning a song, you're kind of like, oh man, I'm lost. And sometimes you don't even know you're lost. Because I've had plenty of students that sent me stuff, and they're like lost in the form, but they don't know it. And that's probably the worst thing, that you can do is to keep playing while you're lost. But they're not really sure. They don't really know that they're lost, so that they're just playing along. But that's why this actually solves that problem, because when you just do one phrase at a time, you kind of can't make a mistake. And if you practice with the original long enough, you're going to get good at making it. Like hearing exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Oh, that's the karaoke track. What am I doing? So.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and you kicking me out. You got my head spinning, no kidding. I can't pin you down. What's going on?
See, that's the problem with this, is like, it sounds so much the same. There's not a lot going on there that, the chords and stuff don't really tell you much and give you much information because it's not really changing much. So you don't get a really chance to know when a phrase is beginning or ending. And that's why this is even more important, because if you were doing a tune like this, that's this difficult in terms of just phrasing and finding the beginnings and endings of phrases. This is going to really make it a lot easier for you. And as I said, just getting into his vocal and all, and really getting the nuances of how he's singing it. So that's that's the main thing with this. I think that's really all you have to know with it. You could there's one other thing you can do, like if you're starting here and you want to go over here where I put the cursor, say that I stopped it there because with my space bar, I can actually just click. I can push on my my shift key, and then I click over here, and you've done the loop without even having to drag it. So that's another way to use this, right? You can just push. You have it there. You have this here like that. All right, and then you're over here, and then you say, I had to have this here, or I know I want to stop right here. I press the arrow's there, so it's gonna start there. As soon as I click, it's gonna loop that to wherever I stop it. So that's that's like a little speed trick that it's a little faster to do it, but not necessarily better. It's mostly better if you were trying to do like a whole course, where it's like it's like a 16 bar thing, and okay, here's the beginning of the song, and okay, now I know it's way up here, and oh, here it is. You can see it where it is, and you go boom, there it is, it's done. So, and then you just go back and check it to make sure it's correct. That's the main thing I wanted to show today. There's so many other things that this thing does. It's such a incredible little tool for very little amount of money. I think it's $40 now. $40 or less. I'm pretty sure it's $40, and I'd pay $500 for it. It's really great. So I welcome any questions you have about it. And I hope that helps you to become a better practicer, because if you want to get good on this instrument, it's not about the time you spend on it. You could spend 4 hours, but if you're playing a lot of wrong notes and going over something over and over and just playing it wrong every time, that's not practicing. And you know that, but you can't really know how badly you're playing until you kind of get into really listening, taking that one little spot and just working on that one little spot until you can really hear that. A lot of times I'll just do that. Like 2 notes. That's it. That's all I want to hear. Notice he goes. Notice how he goes. What would I? He doesn't just like. That's not what he's doing at all. Hear it? So there's a lot of nuances that you can hear if you get inside of each note, and that to me is like really playing musically. So this is a great tool, awesome tool. So many other things you can do when you're improvising using this, and I'll make other videos on it, because I think it's really important for people to know how to use it, and I think you'll kind of get excited once you get it and you try it out on different things. It's really easy to get stuff in here too. So you can just take something like, if I had something like this on my desktop, and I wanted to do put it in here, I just drag it up into the window, and it creates a whole new one. It doesn't destroy my old one. John Legend's still there. Now I've got this approach notes demo. It's like all another piece of music.
Demonstration of.
I'm doing a demo there, but anyway. So I hope that inspires you to to buy this thing and start using it like that, to break up your practice into these small phrases. That's the key element to practicing correctly, and then putting those phrases together like do one phrase, then do a second phrase, and then put those two together. Make sure you can do those two phrases. If you were trying to learn the Gettysburg Address, you wouldn't recite the whole, you wouldn't read through the whole thing and then start from the beginning and do it again. That would be like an insane way to try to memorize that, right? So that's kind of what we're doing in music. We're actually memorizing these little phrases one at a time, and that's why being a reader, it's a great asset. I totally believe in it. I got my master's in music. I had to read like lots of music, but what I'm trying to like stress to you right now is that it's not important. If you're not really trying to be like a pro musician, you just want to play for fun, you don't necessarily have to be like a good reader. If you can write the notes down and get the basic rhythms, it's going to be helpful to you. I totally recommend getting that much. But the main thing is to develop your ears so that you can hear this phrase and figure it out.
What would I do without your smart mouth?
You can do this yourself. You don't have to look it up on the internet, like just learn that phrase.
What would I?
And the more you get inside of learning it yourself, the better you'll start really hearing all those nuances that I was talking about. All right, I definitely went long enough. Send me some comments and take care. Bye-bye.